Happy Wednesday, everyone. Jo here of SportsGrid. It's time for Bucket with Jo. Now it's going to be a short show today. We only have 3 games on deck, and we had some amazing games last night. So hopefully you were able to watch those games. Still cannot believe Montreal in overtime versus Edmonton. Edmonton able to score on that power play, and Montreal able to kill that penalty for what felt like forever out there. Sam Montague absolutely standing on his head. So if you missed out on that game, wow, you missed out on some excitement. But lots of games across the board last night. We cashed a lot of those bets. That was the game or the day I needed out there on the ice, because I tell you that weekend was cold as ice. But we've got 3 games on deck today. I think lots of opportunities to make some money, especially when we look at these player props today. Super excited for them. I am looking at all 3 of these games, and I do think all 3 have the opportunity to go over those totals. So a couple of 5.5s out there and a 6.5. So we're going to break down each and every one again, sides, totals, and then some props in these. And yeah, let's get going. So Matt and Jace here. Happy Wednesday. Let's make some freaking money. The first matchup here, we have the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Washington Capitals. Now, looking at current lines, and all lines are over at FanDuel, you guys, if you're looking for where I'm getting these odds from, with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Awful loss last night. They lost to the Philadelphia Flyers. So this is their second night of a back-to-back. They're still the favorite. We expected this. We know that the lines for the Toronto Maple Leafs are always heavy. The betting public loves to back Toronto. So Toronto coming in at -137, the Washington Capitals at +114. Now they are returning home from a road trip, and this is normally a spot where I like to fade them. I can't fade the Washington Capitals tonight. I love what we're seeing out of this team and how they're pushing for a wild card spot. Again, this total sitting at 6.5. +100 to the over. I would take it over before I took it under. The total, I don't absolutely love the total here, but I do think we could see a 4-3 style game. I think this game has the opportunity of going to overtime. The Washington Capitals have been absolutely elite on their power play as of late. We look at them in March. In the month of March, the power play has been converting at 28%. This is not good for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Their kill has not been strong. We are seeing their opponents really take them apart when they have that extra man advantage, and Toronto is down. Toronto, in their last 5 games, have allowed 6 goals on the kill. So their kill isn't doing well, only killing their opponent's power play at 73%. This is not what Toronto needs. Toronto has to play a clean game if they want to get the win tonight, and I just don't know if they can do it. Now, Wall is expected here for Toronto. When we look at the Washington Capitals, Charlie Lindgren is expected in goal, or is confirmed. I like Charlie Lindgren. I like what we've seen out of him. He's got a 2.59 goals against average and a 915 save percentage. He's 2-3-0 in his 6 games versus the Toronto Maple Leafs in his career, with a 3.80 goals against average and a 903 save percentage. That doesn't sound good, but when you break it down, and I've got him for those last couple of games. So we did see him out early last year. So like January of last year versus Toronto, he saved 7 shots, allowed 1. So sorry, he saved 6, allowed 1 on 7 shots on goal. So he was brought into that game. The game before was back in December of 2022. That was the last big game that he faced Toronto. He did save 2 of 36 shots on net. The one before, 3 of 39. The one before, 5 of 49. And before that, 4 of 49 and 5 of 27. So that back in 2017, when he was with Montreal, he did have a bad game there. But you look at those other ones and the amount of shots that came raining in on him in all of those. I don't think his numbers are as bad as they sound, but it does still lean me towards that over. I do think we will see a higher scoring game between these two, but I do think Washington still has every opportunity to win. When we look here at the goalie props, I just want to see if any have come out for us. Charlie Lindgren's number is 27.5, -114 to the over. Like I said, you guys, I really do think he is in for a big night. I like him to that over. We know the Washington Capitals are still allowing those shots to come in on goal at 30.5 shots on goal. Their kill sitting at about 79.4%. So I think Charlie Lindgren can go over that. Wall has been confirmed. So his number coming in at 26.5. I wouldn't touch Wall's numbers here because the Washington Capitals, while they have been getting these wins, they're not a team that absolutely peppers the net, but they are a team that I can trust to score on that power play because of how the kill has been weak here for Toronto. And the power play is just absolutely fire for the Washington Capitals. Now, who is that? Who's on fire? We know it, you guys. It is Ovechkin, completely on fire. You look at Ovechkin here, the power play point coming in at plus 195. How can you say no? He's got 6 power play points in March. Absolutely phenomenal. 23 in this season. You also can look at Ovechkin for 2+ points if you want to save for bet. That's coming in at plus 240 or the anytime goal at plus 155. I do think the 2+ points comes in. He could just get 2 assists tonight. So I don't really love the anytime goal, even though that is, it seems like a safer bet, but I really do think the 2+ points can come in. And I think that power play point can come in at plus 195 as well. So I'm going to take the Capitals on the money line. I'm going to take Ovechkin for the 2+ points, Ovechkin for the power play point. And then Dylan Strome has been having his probably best season we've seen out of him. For the anytime goal tonight, you can get him at plus 250. Now he's minus 122 for a point. He's been on fire. He continues to just each and every game play his heart out. He had a goal and assist in that last game versus Calgary. So this team is rested as well. They haven't played since that last game versus Calgary. He's tied his career high of 23 goals, and there's still so much time in the season. So I think he definitely can get that anytime goal tonight. Again, if you just want to take the point, it's minus 122. A little bit safer there. And Ovi's within 51 goals of Wayne Gretzky. So he's chasing you guys. He's not going to get there this season, but he's definitely been absolutely phenomenal. So he had 2 goals in that last game versus Calgary, 3 goals in the past 2 games. So he's had 21 goals on the season. He is the first player in NHL history to put up 20+ goals each year that he has in his first 19 seasons. So 20+ goals in each of those. I do think he comes out continuing to be on fire. And when I look at Toronto, you guys, you look at their scheduling spot, the second night of a back-to-back, and they've been on the road a lot. I just don't love it for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, we know Toronto, losing 1 game, they love to bounce back. Losing 2 games, they love to bounce back. But I do think we could see them losing this 3rd game here. They had 3 games on the road, and then they were at home on Saturday versus the Carolina Hurricanes. And then they came back out on the road for last night versus the Flyers. Then this game, then they're back, I believe it's versus the Oilers, and then they're back out on the road again. This team is doing so many games on the road. It's got to be hard for them here. So I'm going to fade them. They have won 6 of the last 10 versus Washington, just so I understand anyone who is looking to go after Toronto here. It's just not a price that I want to pay for them. They did win in October 4-1, and now they're sitting 3rd in the Atlantic. They're 7 points ahead of the Tampa Bay Lightning. When we look at the Washington Capitals, they're 4th in the Metro. They're fighting for that wild card spot. Detroit holds the final Eastern Conference wild card spot at the moment by 1 point over the Washington Capitals and 3 over the New York Islanders. So it is absolutely tight there. Every single game counts between these teams. I really do think with how hot Washington's been rolling, they can get a nice win in this one. Happy Wednesday, Chip, to you as well. Yeah, the Washington Capitals goal in the first 10 minutes. Matt, something I hadn't considered was that goal in the first 10 minutes, but we could definitely see that goal coming in nice and fast. We know that Toronto Maple Leafs have an absolutely loaded offense out there. Austin Matthews is going to want to get on that scoreboard. So I could see the goal coming in the first 10 minutes. I don't know if you're going to get the value in the first 10 minutes unless you're putting that in a parlay piece. So let me just look at that. The goal in the first 5 minutes is plus 166. The goal in the first 10 minutes minus 156. So I don't love laying that much juice, but I don't think it's a bad bet. I do think we can see a goal in the first 10 minutes. The goal in the first 5, I'm kind of tempted with now that I see those odds at plus 166 because I do lean for this one to go over. Like I said, I'm leaning for all of these games to go over tonight. I just think Joseph Woll will allow those goals to come in for Toronto. We know Toronto offensively needs to get on the scoreboard to be able to win a lot of these games. They're not a team that you think of winning games 2-1. But I do think they're trying to lock down on the defensive side, but their kill is really killing them, for lack of better words. So I would lean to the over. So I would lean to that goal coming in nice and quick between these two. It's going to be a good game tonight. I can't wait for this one to kick off. The next game kicks off at 8 o'clock Eastern. We have the Arizona Coyotes taking on the Dallas Stars. Current odds on this one. The Coyotes a huge dog here. They could be barking. Maybe a couple of their players barking at least for those anytime goals or those points. The Coyotes coming in at plus 240, minus 300 for the Dallas Stars. Total of 6.5, plus 100 to the over, minus 122 to the under. If you think the Arizona Coyotes can get a couple goals, you got to lean over in this one. And I do think a couple goals can come out of them here. They've had too many playmakers that have been hot, like Clayton Keller. And Clayton Keller's anytime goals coming in at plus 200. He recorded a goal and an assist in his last game on Saturday. So I do think he continues to roll hot. Now, the Coyotes have won their last two, and Connor Ingram in goal has recorded the win in his last 3 games. So he's been playing phenomenal. But the Arizona Coyotes haven't strung together 3 wins straight since December. It's been a long time since they've been able to get 3 wins in a row. They're sitting 7th in the Central, and we know this team any given day could pull off an upset here. And with the value we're getting, kind of worth the sprinkle. But you look at the Dallas Stars, and I can't step in front of them here. This team is playing phenomenal. They're sitting 3rd in the Central. They absolutely want this win. They are trailing the Winnipeg Jets and the Colorado Avalanche, who are tied right now for 1st in the Central. So they are trailing only by 2 points. They need this win. They want this win, and they're going to do everything it takes to be able to get this win tonight. Could this be a game where Arizona gets the upset? It could be, but I really do think the Dallas Stars, as long as Ottinger comes out strong. And this is my concern. When you hear the name Jake Ottinger, you think phenomenal. We don't think Igor levels, but Jake Ottinger for his career has been absolutely phenomenal. Since returning from injury in January, his numbers are not pretty. He's got a 3.16 goals against average and an 891 save percentage in those 22 games since returning from injury. The Arizona Coyotes can hit him tonight. We will need the Dallas Stars defense to really stand up in this one. Now, the defense allows 29.3 shots on goal per game. Their kill is strong, though, at 80.7. The Arizona Coyotes have a strong power play. This is actually always surprising to me. Their power play converts at 22.4%. It's only converting for the Stars at 23.8%. So just under a full percent higher for the Dallas Stars. So I do think the Coyotes will score. I just don't trust Jake Ottinger since he's been back from injury. The numbers do stand behind the fact that he hasn't been solid since then. And Connor Ingram recording his last 3 wins. The more and more I talk about it, the more and more I just want to put some money on the Arizona Coyotes tonight. But it's a hard one. The Dallas Stars off that win over the LA Kings. They got that win at home 4-1. It's crazy because the last time these teams played each other, high scoring game, we saw the Dallas Stars get the win 5-4. It was an overtime win by them as well, but they have won and covered the puck line in the 4 games prior versus the Arizona Coyotes. Now, one player you can count on from the Dallas Stars is Wyatt Johnston here. He's been on fire and quietly on fire. Until I started really digging into his numbers, I didn't realize how strong he has been playing out here for the Dallas Stars. You can look at him for the anytime goal at plus 180. Now, super interesting here. FanDuel will not give me Wyatt Johnston for a point anywhere on the board. If you can find Wyatt Johnston for the point that's giving you even minus 120, I would absolutely hit it. If you're going to have to take him up to 2+ points and get a great plus money, I don't hate that either, but I do think the anytime goal at plus 180 on FanDuel has so much value. He's on a 5-game point streak here. He's had 11 goals and 9 assists in his last 16 games. He has 11 points in his last 12 home games as well. So phenomenally strong here at home. I do think against Connor Ingram and the Arizona Coyotes, we can count on Wyatt Johnston to be able to find the back of the net like the lamp and get us that plus 180 money. So I think it's a fantastic way to go with this one. Rupe Hintz and Wyatt Johnston are tied right now for the leading goal scorers on this team, leading points on this team, actually. So Rupe Hintz, always someone really strong to circle out there. Now, this is a long shot. Okay, you guys always like a long shot. I love a long shot. Maybe we should just have a show called Long Shot with Jo. Chris Tanev here. Now, Chris Tanev was traded from the Calgary Flames. He's a defenseman. He's an offensive defenseman. We know the first game out, or maybe it was the second game out with the Stars, he was able to get on the scoreboard. His opportunity to get on the scoreboard here, we know the Arizona Coyotes defense can have lapses. They allow 31.9 shots on goal per game, 3.29 goals per game, and their kills only at 76%. So a strong offensive defenseman with the plus money they're giving us. This is what I can't get past. I would have thought Chris Tanev would have come in at plus 500, plus 550, plus 600 for an anytime goal. He is coming in on FanDuel, and I'm going to look this up, double check on it because it doesn't make any sense to me. Chris Tanev, anytime goal, plus 1,300. So let's just double check that because it seems too good to be true for Chris Tanev. He's already got a goal with the Wild so far. Let's just see if we can get him here, what it is again. And now he is, he's still plus 1,300. So no movement on that. I do think it is worth a couple dollars sprinkled on that. I can't look past that number, especially when we know he can get there. So thank you, Kev. Yeah, if you guys can like, subscribe, and share, I would completely appreciate it. Ottinger, I think over is, Ottinger. It's hard with Ottinger these days. Let's make some freaking money. Boost on DK plus 100 for it. For the goal in the first goal in the first 10 minutes, Matt. Yeah, then if you're getting the goal in the first 10 minutes with a boost on DraftKings, definitely I would hit that one in that game. I think it's a great way to go. So long shot. That's a catchy title. Thanks, Kev. We're going to start a long shot show. That is for sure. So let's break down. We got one more game out there on the ice, but that's everything I'm liking in this one. It's the value, like trying to find value here. Let's just go back to the main page. Give me 1 second to get back to the main page. So trying to find value between the Dallas Stars and the Arizona Coyotes. It's a struggle. Minus 300 here for the Stars, the Arizona Coyotes at plus 240. That total is 6.5. I do lean to the over because I don't trust Ottinger. Connor Ingram has been really strong, though, but we know we've got goal scorers on both sides. The puck line, minus 1.5 for the Dallas Stars at minus 115. They should come out. They should win and cover this puck line. I just don't know how much I trust it here, you guys. You look at the puck line records between these teams. The Dallas Stars, they're awful on the puck line at home. 11 and 23 at home on the puck line. Yes, in a lot of these cases, they have been the favorite and not in that underdog role. Like when you look at the Arizona Coyotes, their puck line record on the road is 19 and 16. More than less, the Coyotes have been the dog and kept it tight. And the Dallas Stars have been the favorite, kept it tight, but not covered that puck line. So I'm not loving the puck line on either side. If I had to take it, if I was forced, which no one can make me do anything. That's what my mom would say. You can't make me. It's kind of like my family coat of arms. But I would take the Coyotes plus the 1.5, even though they're the weaker team here. I just look at Dallas. I think they can record the win, maybe the win in regulation, but you're not going to get the value either. I just don't trust Ottinger right now. So I love the player props. Clayton Keller, anytime goal. Wyatt Johnston, anytime goal. Chris Tanev for a sprinkle for the anytime goal. And the over 6.5. Now, another way to look at this is that first period over 1.5. And I'm just going to pull up the odds on that first period over 1.5 because I do think we see those goals coming in nice and quick in this one. So the first period over 1.5 is minus 126. I think that is a phenomenally strong bet as well. The last game on the ice today, we have the Minnesota Wild taking on the LA Kings. This one I'm excited for. Now, the Minnesota Wild, Marc-Andre Fleury getting the start. They're coming in at plus 130. The LA Kings, minus 156 with David Rittich here. Total of 5.5, minus 118 to the over, minus 104 to the under. I know I keep stressing how strong the defense is here of the LA Kings when they decide to lock down. They just haven't been doing it enough, you guys. And at a total of 5.5, I have to take this to the over, especially with how both of these offenses are scoring as of late. Now, the LA Kings coming off that win versus the Chicago Blackhawks. I know it was the Chicago Blackhawks and their defense. They were able to put 6 goals up on them. They still did allow the Chicago Blackhawks to score 2. So looking at the Minnesota Wild with how strong this team can be offensively out there on the ice, they're off that shutout win versus the Ducks. And again, both of these teams coming off weaker opponents, but they got the shutout over the Ducks 4-0. I hope you guys bet that. We talked about that last night. If they're a goaltender, what would be able Gustafson to get the shutout because the Ducks? We took the Ducks team total under 2.5. That was an easy cash out there. But this is the second night of a back-to-back for both of these teams. We look at Kopitar here for the LA Kings. He has been straight fire. I'm looking for him to get a point tonight. Now that's coming in at minus 130. It's juicy, but I think there's a couple other ways we can bet him. But just for the point tonight, last night, he had 2 goals in the second period, and then he got an assist in the third. He got 3 points last night. So his career points on the season is 1,199. He's looking for number 1,200 tonight for his points. So I love him at minus 130 for the anytime point tonight. I think it's a solid bet. 2+ points for Kopitar tonight. Plus 390, you guys. How can we say no to that? I do think he has every possibility. And even if it's a quarter of a unit on that, I do think the point is a full unit if you want to put it, or maybe even a half a unit on the point, and then a quarter unit on the 2+ points, and then the anytime goal coming in at plus 300. Last night, he had 2 goals in the second period. So he has every ability of being able to get those points, the goals out there. When the press interviewed Kempe last night, they said they're looking for Kopitar out there on the ice. They know exactly where he's at with his career points, so they're trying to get the puck to him. They will be looking to get the puck to him tonight. And of course, the Minnesota Wild's defense is going to try to do everything they can to limit Kopitar tonight, but I don't think it will be enough. I like what we've seen out of the LA Kings, but Kaprizov here for the Minnesota Wild, he's been fire as well. His anytime goal coming in at plus 170. The 2+ points for him, because of 1+ points, there's no value. You're going to have to lay minus like 220. That's coming in at plus 220. He scored in 5 consecutive games, and he's riding an 8-point win streak, or 8-point streak here. So 10 goals and 4 assists in the last 8 games. He's been absolute fire. So I do like him for the 2+ points tonight at plus 220. David Rittich, again, and Marc-Andre Fleury are the goaltenders in net. I do think this is a higher scoring one, so I do like isolating those 2 players to have big nights in this game. I'm going to take the over 5.5 at minus 118. That's my favorite bet of this one. This is going to be a game where the Kings are trying to break that win 1, lose 1 streak. They've won 1, lost 1 for their last 9 games consecutively. They're coming off the win versus the Chicago Blackhawks. So if you look at the pattern they've been following, this should be a loss for them. They are sitting 3rd in the Pacific. They're sitting 2 points above the Vegas Golden Knights. They can't afford to get any losses. We also look at the Minnesota Wild, 5th in the Central. They're 3 points back of Vegas for the 2nd Western Conference wildcard spot. So the Minnesota Wild are going to bring it as well. I'm going to rely on these teams offensively to be able to get it done. I do think this one has every opportunity of going to OT as well. Another reason I'm liking that total over the 5.5, because I could see it being 3-2, and then the other team tying it up, throwing it to overtime, pushing us over that total in a game where these goals probably come late. I would look maybe at the first period in this one being a low scoring one. Not my favorite of all, but I could see this one staying under 1.5 in the first period. And then that second period and third period really opening up. We could sweat this over 5.5 like crazy, with the first and second period being super tight. as we get into the playoffs here, you guys, Ovechkin said it best himself when he said, these teams fighting for the wild card spot, start looking for us to tighten up and play playoff mind style hockey. This is what we're going to start seeing out of these teams. So while I do trend 2 overs tonight, we're going to start seeing a lot more of these unders coming in as these teams do tighten up on the defensive side. My problem right now is the goaltending in tonight and the defenses tonight. I can't trust. We got second nights of back-to-backs as well. So I am looking for overs tonight, but we're going to start getting into that point where we're looking at the no goals in the first 10 minutes, the no goals in the first period, and those kind of bets. So if you don't like betting unders, it's going to get to that point in hockey where we just have to go there. So you guys, you're going to start with the slow one. I'm number 30. Who is watching now? Those legs are going to be put to test on the back-to-back. Yeah, they absolutely will be put to the test tonight. Most goals in the third. D is tired. I agree. Those goals in the third period, if you're looking at the most goals to come in those periods, I don't see it happening in the first period. And I know when we have the second string goalies, and I don't consider Marc-Andre Fleury a second string true goalie, but David Rittich, I do. You look at those goals to come in quick to kind of upset them, and then you look at that third period to be really explosive, as once the goals start opening up between these teams, we do see it happen, and especially on that second night of a back-to-back. Yeah, Kev, I'm with you. I really do think we could start off super slow between the Wild and the Kings. I'm with you on that. Kaprizov first goal in the game. You're going to get amazing odds for him there. He's been rolling so fantastically hot. I would look at sprinkling a little bit on him as well. There's so many bets that we can make tonight with so little games out there. Like I said, only 3 games today. Tomorrow, Thursday, March 21st, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We've got 11 games tomorrow. Some really great matchups out there on the ice. You got to think the Montreal Canadiens are getting tired on this road trip. They face Vancouver tomorrow. The Tampa Bay Lightning face the San Jose Sharks. Seattle faces Vegas. The Blackhawks and the Ducks, the Buffalo Sabres and the Edmonton Oilers. The Winnipeg Jets are in action tomorrow versus the New Jersey Devils. That is a total clash of styles between those two teams. The Nashville Predators and the Florida Panthers will be in action. That will be interesting because right now the Florida Panthers only minus 176 sitting there on the money line. We know they're off that upset loss, and they're going to be at home in this one. They've been strong at home. I think they're one of the best teams in the league. The Islanders and the Red Wings going to be fighting it out there. This is do or die for these teams. They will be trying to get the win. Detroit, the favorite. Boston Bruins and the New York Islanders are also in action. 7 p.m. Eastern. This is one tomorrow. If you want to bet it early now, I am going to be looking at the no goals in the first 10 minutes and the under 1.5 in the first period. We've already got 5.5s in this game. I'm not going to bet the full game to the under, but that first period, I'm going to be hitting on that. The Philadelphia Flyers and the Carolina Hurricanes. The Hurricanes ruined our no goals or the under 1.5 in their last game out. But I do think the Flyers versus the Hurricanes, as long as we get Urgent at his best, I do think you still look at the under 1.5 in that game as well tomorrow. So that's an early look on those lines for tomorrow. But you guys, thanks so much for joining me here. Best of luck in all of your bets out there on the ice. And if you're looking for more great content, make sure you go over and download the SportsGrid app. You can get one of my hockey bets there every single day. And you can follow all the hosts over on SportsGrid. That's it for me today. I'm going to kick back, watch these games, enjoy the rest. I hope everyone makes some freaking money out there on the ice. I appreciate you guys so very much. Let's have a good one. I appreciate you. Lauren, hey to you too. Okay, you guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow.